Hi, I'm Tara Watson-Watkins, President and CEO of the Lufkin Angelina County Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to the Connect podcast, connecting people to the community. I'm here today with my co-host, Blake Polino, with the Lufkin Daily News, and he is the new advertising director.
Welcome back to the show. This week, we have an incredibly important episode. We are going to talk with Dr. James Hockenberry, the Superintendent of Lufkin ISD. You've probably heard about it, seen it everywhere, but the Prop A and Prop B that Lufkin will be voting on, we're going to debunk some myths and ask some questions and find out what's really in both of these propositions and why you should or shouldn't vote for it.
The cost of IT in business can be staggering. From hardware and software expenses to services like internet and phone, you don't need to spend a fortune on IT to succeed. If your organization spends more than $500 monthly on any service, or you're considering signing a long-term contract, IT Enabled can help you manage your technology and minimize your costs. Contact us today to schedule a free consultation. IT Enabled, we're here to help.
Well, we are thrilled to have Dr. Hockenberry as around our office. He's called Hawk. Come in and visit on our podcast. So for those that have not had the pleasure of meeting you, just tell a little bit about yourself, your background, and how long you've been in Lufkin.
Well, I'm 31 years in education now. It's hard to believe. I actually started in Angelina County back in the early 90s and have been in now 6 school districts. And May 1st, it'll be 2 years in Lufkin.
That's hard to believe. It's gone by quick.
It's hard to believe.
Yeah.
When you're doing a lot, time flies.
And you are doing a lot.
We've tackled a lot of big challenges. So head on, collaborative, very transparent. So we've done some work here.
I didn't know you started in Angelina County.
Long time ago.
Okay. No, I was alive during that time, so let's not say it's too long ago, but that's awesome. I didn't know that.
So let's talk about how the past community investment has really helped shape LISD. And then our last successful bond was in 2018. And that's really hard to believe that it's been that long because COVID hit during all of that bond. So it seems a lot longer to me probably than what it was. But how has that shaped LISD?
Well, in my opinion, the 2018 bond and what was constructed during that time, the middle school, I think the PAC, baseball, softball fields, those facilities are considered the gold standard of East Texas. I mean, they are. It's established a standard of excellence when it comes to what you want your schools to look like, what you want your student experience to be like while in those facilities. And so I think that's kind of driven, a whole new level of expectation when it comes to our environments for our students and what the community should expect in the facilities of their schools.
You know, Blake and I both have kids that are the same age. They both went to middle school for the first time this year. So we really got to reap the benefits of that bond with our kids being really the first ones to go into a school that wasn't under construction. And man, it's just phenomenal. They have everything that's needed.
First class.
Yeah.
I've never seen a middle school like it. It's I knew when I got here, and I shared this with the GLS within a few weeks. I said, y'all have got to put that building up for recognition and awards. And they did this year, and they've received some architecture awards for that. It's amazing.
I was actually talking to my brother yesterday, and both my brothers graduated from Lufkin High School in 77 and 78, and we were talking about the schools, and he said, so where is middle school? I said, our old high school, but you wouldn't recognize it. So
absolutely not. It's the crown jewel.
Awesome.
It's beautiful. The difference is what was interesting to me or amazing to me because they had come from some of our elementary schools that are older, and so going from that to these newer facilities was a stark difference, and it's a beautiful place. My son was a little nervous about it because it's so big. He's like, wow, he's like, I'm afraid I'm gonna get lost. But they let us do tours the day before, and it's really beautiful. So that was the 2018 bond that built the middle school that came from that,
along with baseball and the PAC.
Baseball, softball, and the PAC, that all came from that one bond, and it's amazing.
It's been a while. It's time for a new one. So let's talk about your efforts that the district has made to engage with the community, because we are looking at a bond. We need a bond to pass in April, and so let's talk about the priorities and the concerns of the stakeholders.
So a big part of my leadership philosophy is committee work. I believe, and for a long time, that the school district belongs to the kids, the parents, the community, the families. And so when you're making these kinds of decisions, and these are very big decisions, and we've made lots of very big decisions, it's very important to engage the community. And a really good way to do that is through committee work. And so we started significant committee work my first year in evaluating all of our schools, enrollment trends, programs. And out of that, some recommendations were made from that initial Future Facilities Committee group that we had, which was a combination of community members and staff. But one of the ending statements in their recommendations that was, when the time is right, our facilities are in such a condition across the district that we would recommend that a new committee be formed and take up our work and carry it forward if they deem it appropriate. So that's kind of what we've done. And so through listening to committees, individuals, sometimes even the words that are unspoken, as you can just sit back and watch the body language at times, it's been an amazing experience for me professionally, because I began to see why Lufkin is different. And it absolutely is different because there's such an embrace of the school district from the community, unlike anywhere else I've ever been. It almost goes without question that if you ask us and you show us and you allow us to be part of the process, and it is deemed needed, we're going to wrap our arms around you, and we're going to carry the needs of the district forward. And that's the biggest difference to Lufkin than any other place I've been, is the amount of support that you have for the school district. It's immeasurable.
That's really cool. That's good to hear, because
So-
I know, as somebody who grew up here, graduated from here, now has a kid in it, I know how much love I have for the school district. Having a husband that's not from this area, he does not get it at all. But he's starting to get it now that Annalise turned 12. He's starting to understand it more than when she was little, But
That's
we
interesting.
bleed purple.
That's interesting that you say that, because even school people like myself, you don't fully understand it until you see it and experience it. And I've been in districts that have school spirit. I've been in districts that are excited about their school district. But this place, no matter what it is, it's the heartbeat. And when you're the heartbeat and you're part of that, it's remarkable. So it is. And it just doesn't happen everywhere. Not at this level. It's not even close.
Well, so let's talk about this bond and what we need. The average age of our buildings for LISD are 61 years.
They are.
They're in trouble.
The facilities here are aging. We've got, we've evaluated all our facilities a couple of different times. We've got to share those results either through a report or firsthand, walking them with two different committee groups. And there's just, they are what they are. And we've got, videos and a website that kind of lays out everything, kind of the facts. And so here we are. There's two propositions before the voters, and we'll go forward with that and educate people along the way and let them make a decision.
So why is now the right time for these bonds? Why is the timeliness of this so important with these?
That's a really good question, and there's a couple of reasons. But what resonates with me, and and it's real, is the inflationary facts that take place. The more you wait, the more it costs. The age of the buildings is also a factor, but just annually, because of the scope of what we're talking about and the rate of inflation that we're experiencing now, could be up to $14 million annually. And so you get to a place where, all right, you need things. You use committee work to make a decision what those are. You've got to pay for them, but you've also got to recognize, all right, what about timing? So when you look at that, and inflation is a big driver right now, and we have to consider that. So for me, that really resonated, is how much things will cost a year from now, and because of the age of our facilities, it's at some point they're going to have to be addressed. So we're going to give people the opportunity now to address a big part of that.
I had the pleasure of being on the big committee that got to walk some of the schools, and I was just blown away at some of the conditions that our kids are going to school in, and really saddened at some of the things that the teachers and the students are having just to deal with on a daily basis, just because that's what it's always been. So let's talk about the two propositions,
Okay.
Prop A and Prop B, what's included in both, and why we need everyone to vote yes for both, just not one or the other.
Well, I don't know if I can tell you in my role, if I can tell you why you need to vote yes, but I can definitely tell you the conditions of facilities and the facts as they are. So Prop A is a big focus is centered around Lufkin High School. So the building itself is old Junior High East, which, if you don't know, really the bond working 28 years ago was they put a shell around the outside, and so the shell from the road looks great. You walk through the front doors, things still look okay, but then you go a few feet inward, and you realize that you have old Junior High East. So carpet, tiles, flooring, plumbing, bathrooms, gyms, much of that building is exactly how it was when it is junior high. Once you get into the building, so the useful life of that building, it's aging out, and maintenance is extraordinarily difficult. So a major reimagination of Lufkin High School and what it is and what it looks like, all of that is being considered. In addition to, in Prop A career and technical education building, new, some slight renovations in our current facility, but predominantly new construction to meet the new and future innovative needs of the CTE aspects of the educational programs and the workforce. And we're working on alignment, a stronger alignment with what the workforce needs are and our programs, so that we have a stronger alignment straight from high school to workforce. Then you have an untapped resource in Lufkin, which an ag barn, but really it's bigger. It's about agriculture science and all aspects of agriculture science when it comes to, you look at where Lufkin is located. We have a big ag industry in this area, and so an ag barn will allow for kids to raise animals that may otherwise not have an opportunity, but it really goes beyond that. So those are big aspects of major safety and security upgrades across the district, including our elementary and primary schools where we have some needs. When I talk about safety and security, I'm also talking about the portable buildings. We have a large number of portable buildings at our lower grades that, in my opinion, we need to start moving away from. This bond will allow for us to start moving away from portable buildings. It will improve our security. We're going to have added cameras. We're going to strengthen our vestibules and fencing, key access. We've already started some of that, but we're going to have more access control to where we can record entries and see who's coming in and out, and not so many keys floating around. So, and buses. We have an aging bus fleet. We have about a third of our students ride buses every day to and from school, not to mention all of our extracurricular programs, our field trips. It doesn't matter what grade. I mean, we have buses on the road daily, transporting kids to and from school, but going places. We have an aging fleet. The standard for buses is changing, where we need seat belts, and so we have in this bond will allow for the purchase of new buses. I think approximately about $3 million of that Prop A is allocated toward the purchase of new buses.
And with the purchase of new buses, you do get the seat belts, which is now a new issue from the legislature that you have to have that within what
2029. And right now there's not funding for seat belts. We're hoping that the legislature will come through. So the purchase of new buses, they will already come with seat belts and retrofitted. $3 million will not get us an entirely new fleet, but you really don't need an entirely new fleet, because if you buy all your buses at one time, guess what you have to do in about 10 years? You got to come up with that money. So it will catch us up. It will get us a little ahead, and then we can start strategically staging the purchase of buses in a cycle. Like every year we buy 2 or 3, rather than letting them get behind and all of a sudden we need so many. So it's going to help us plan ahead and catch us up where we need to be. And we'll be more safe. These buses are absolutely amazing now when you buy them and you see what they're outfitted with.
Okay, so that's Prop A.
It's Prop A.
Let's talk Prop B. And this is probably the more controversial one, I would think.
It tends to be in other school districts. So Prop B is a new stadium. And so stadiums historically are a bigger challenge for school districts because for various reasons. So, but Prop B is a new stadium. It would be a completely new stadium.
Same location.
Same location. We would demolish the one that's there and build a new one right on its site. That's the plan.
But the stadium is it's a mess.
It's in tough shape.
It is the original stadium that was built in the 70s.
It's 53 years old.
Do you know that I have, until last year, the same seats, 53 years, my family has had the same seats
Really?
on the 50-yard line. Because my brothers played high school. So we had to move last year because of the fact that my mom has now had 2 knee replacements and a hip replacement. And we were on the 24th row, but there is no railing that goes up to the 24th row. And so she was so afraid of falling because it's such a pitched incline that we moved down, same seats, but now to the 12th row so that she doesn't have to go up she can now go to the football game if I'm not there and feel safe getting into seats.
Right.
So I'm thrilled that we could possibly have a brand new stadium for a lot of reasons, but that's definitely one reason because we've got a lot of people that we need to seat, but we need to be able to have easy access and accessibility of railings and things like that to be able to get people in.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And the spectator experience needs to be improved. It's very interesting to navigate the stadium.
Yeah, it's tough. It's in tough shape. You could not build that stadium today.
No.
You would not be allowed
wouldn't
to.
pass.
It wouldn't pass. I mean, it's just there's a lot of it that just needs to be brought up to modern standards. Yeah.
And that was made very clear by the committee. We spent some time out there, and it didn't take long for them to come to the conclusion that it's time to reimagine the entire stadium experience, whether it's in the fall, spring, summer, nights, evenings, whether it's community events, whether it's youth events, whether it's our own extracurricular activities. So we're real excited about it. We'll see what happens, and there's plenty of information on the stadium. There's renderings of the possibility of what one could look like. We've had a lot of input. We'll continue to take input, and we'll see what happens.
The thing that I was shocked at was like the locker rooms, their air conditioning. The fact that the visiting team doesn't even hardly have a locker room. That our track is not where it needs to be, so we can't even rent out our stadium and facility to hold huge meets that could bring in income because we're not up to standard on things. And so I think that's something that the community needs to understand. It's not just about our kids. It's about the region and how the region can use the stadium and LISD and how LISD can benefit from that to be able to bring in so many more events. And so, that brings in tourism dollars to our community. And I mean, it all feeds in together, but those are things people have got to understand. It's not just about our kids. And you spend 3% of the budget on stadium, band, drill team,
Roughly,
choir,
roughly
all of
it's
that.
roughly
About 3% of the budget. So when you look at the grand scheme of things of what's being spent on that, people really that just say, oh, well, they don't need a new stadium. Let's look at the big picture here. It's 3% of the budget
Right.
for all extracurricular activities, and that includes the stadium.
And you bring up a good point, and I want to use this as an example. We talk about the economic impact. The PAC and the baseball, softball fields. I mean, we're still hosting basketball playoff games, and the girls groups are in their semifinals. But we have a game tonight we're hosting. The baseball, softball fields are used constantly. It's when you have things like that, people want to use them. So when they come, they likely stay. Sometimes stay the night. There's overflow in the summer for all kinds of things. So
they're eating in the restaurants. They're shopping here,
and it's bigger than just school. It goes well beyond that, and we recognize that. And so a new stadium would open that door and that opportunity for those things as well.
Yeah, football, track, all of that.
And we've seen that happen. I mean, to your point, the last thing that passed in the bond, the PAC, this basketball, volleyball stadium, a beautiful, beautiful facility, now host really large regional events that we couldn't previously. So this is not a, you'll hear sometimes, we're trying to do this because it'll drive economic dollars or, create jobs or whatever that story is. This is the reality of what's happened with the bond previously.
Yeah.
And the last one we passed, we've seen that happen. And it's the same situation with the football stadium. But this is not a, college football NIL type of a situation where we're trying to create these huge, highly profitable football sporting events. It's 3% of this budget, right? This is an aging facility that has to be improved.
You know what I like? I want people to see Lufkin.
Yeah.
I want them to see it.
Yeah.
So if you have something that they come to, they get to see more than what they're witnessing. So
Right.
come see it, and
Right.
if you like it, guess what? They're going to
can
come
move
back.
here. Yeah, we'd love to have
And-
you here.
And facilities matter, and so we're real excited about the propositions. Especially excited about the committee's work and their involvement and what they're proposing and the board's adoption and going forward. But it's an exciting time.
So there's several myths that are out there that people are really talking about that I see all the time. So I happen to be able to serve on the PAC, which can go out and really try to ask people to vote for this. So I am asking people to vote yes for both Prop A and Prop B. But you hear people all the time say, well, we don't need to pass a bond. We need to pay our teachers. You can't pay teachers from this pot of money. So let's talk about that, because there was a great example during our meetings about where taxes come in and how you can pay and how much the school gets. Can you explain all of that?
How much time do we have?
Well, you got time.
Much as you want.
Well, I will. This is the shortened version. So there are two pots of money that the school operates from. They're called maintenance and operations, and those are taxes. So you have a collection of local taxes and with additional state aid, and you have that one bucket. So maintenance and operations are, salaries, everything except school construction. So you have the other tax, INS, interest and sinking. That's where you pay for new construction. So the 2018 bond, the prior bond. So you cannot take INS dollars and pour them into the M&O bucket so that you can pay teachers more.
Right.
So it's not allowable. Wouldn't it be nice if we could do that, right? But we just can't do it. So we only have a fixed amount of money that the state allows us to have. So they kind of cap us based on a per pupil dollar amount. So your local taxes and your state aid equal that amount, whatever it is. So some years we get more state dollars, some years we get less, depending upon the taxation. But this money we're talking about, like this bond, can't spend a penny on teacher salaries or any staff
passing
salary.
bonds frees up money to be able to pay teachers that we're not having to
can.
spend on that.
Because we're spending money on this M&O bucket side on maintenance, repairs. So as we upgrade our facilities It improves our maintenance costs, reduces that amount as well, and therefore you're potentially freeing up dollars. So we want to be the highest paying school district in East Texas.
We need bonds. Bonds are important.
So they
bonds
help.
allow us to do things that put us greater on the map. I think somebody said the other day, I think Matt Knight, I was in a meeting with him, and he said Tyler had passed 6 bonds in the time that we've had one since 2018, which is allowing them to be able to pay teachers more because they're not pulling money from that bucket.
It does work that way.
It's just something that I don't think we've ever had to wrap our minds around that. And so it's something that we really just need to understand. I think when it's broken down so simply, that it's very easy to see why a yes is so necessary for our kids.
Yeah. And without understanding the details of this at a surface level, you could say, oh, well, we can't spend this money on a new football stadium if we're not paying teachers more, or we're not doing this. When you lay the details out, it makes a lot more sense. And that's the reason that we do these kind of things is to kind of shed light on that. And I've heard you talk about this before, but we're in a new kind of world of education now, where public education is now more competitive than it's ever been. People can send their kids to school in a ton of different ways that they couldn't 30 years ago, right? So it behooves us as a school district to make it appealing to people, to make these schools that people want to go to, that families want to send their kids to, that are up to date and safe. And there's a lot of benefit to that as a school district and as a town, as a community, to making things the best that we possibly can. And you kind of hear what we're talking about, and the high school is a perfect example. You may drive by it and look at what was literally a shell construction and say, it looks great. We don't need to spend any money on that. But if you say that, you probably have not gone inside.
I was shocked.
You've not been in there.
I was shocked.
Yeah. You've not gone in and walked through these facilities.
Like troughs in the bathrooms.
Yeah. Literal troughs.
I was shocked.
It's a very old building once you walk through the doors.
Yeah.
And we're going to have an open house, town hall / open house, two nights in March, because we want to provide the opportunity for people that, they're hearing about it, but if they want to see it, we're going to take you through it for anybody that wants to see it. So
that's great.
Those are coming up, and we're going to get some information out this week about when those will take place. So people that need to see it firsthand can.
That's right.
And they should. And I encourage people to go.
Yes,
I mean, because
look.
It's easy to say that all your kids are in the school district. Of course, you want it to, you're in the years where you're paying for those tax dollars and things like that. And that may be the case, but we're saying that because we're seeing it, because we're taking our kids to these schools and seeing these facilities every single day. And I would venture to guess people who are maybe opposed to this are not, and they may be driving by the high school and say, oh, that looks fine from out here, but in reality it's not. So if you've taken your kids to events there, if you've been to a football game there, you realize how difficult that situation is. And it's like I said before, couldn't rebuild that the way that it is now, and it needs to be
and you think about you're going to be spending about $7 more a month. Correct. I mean, that's less than you can buy a hamburger for. And if you're over 65, your taxes are frozen. So it's not going to affect you at all.
Right. Not at all.
And we need the 65 and older population to go and vote. Those are typically the ones that get out and vote. So please educate yourself to know that your taxes are not going to increase. You have to do this, because you may not have kids in school right now, but if you think about it differently, you really have a lot of kids in school right now, because it's the kids that are going to stab you with a needle when you go to the doctor's office, or they're going to take your orders at a restaurant. Those are your kids. They may not be your flesh and blood, but they are your kids, and they are our future for our community, and they've got to be taken care of.
Well said.
Okay, they can go to website. They can go to Facebook, LISD.
All our social media sites, but our website, our main page website, when you log into lufkinisd.org, we have a pop-up. So, why? And that's not going away until after the election. So you can link on that, and the website's growing. And click on things. You've got information. You've got videos. You've got renderings, you've got anything you might possibly want. But here's the thing, if there's a question that you have and you need an answer to it, ask. And we'll get you an answer quickly. It'll build our FAQ deck. And so if you want If you, as an individual or as a group, you need more information, ask for it. If you want to see things, we'll show you. We want you to have all access to all the information that you could possibly want so that you can make an educated decision. Whatever that decision is, we want you to know that we will give you anything that you need.
That's great. Go educate yourself, 100%.
And we'll help you if you need help.
That's right.
That's what we do.
That's right. Well, thank you for being here. Thank
Well,
you
thank
for
you for having
educating
me.
everybody.
Thank you
Absolutely.
for having me.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate your time coming in, and make sure you go out and vote for this. And we have some resources here on this episode. If you only listen to the audio version of this episode, there is a video version on the Chamber Facebook page and on the Chamber YouTube that we've included some of the graphics of what we're talking about today, some of the renderings that they're able to share just to show you what we're talking about here in this. So share this episode with someone who maybe might be caught up in some of these myths or doesn't understand the reality of this situation, so that we can help further educate everyone involved in this. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.